How are we doing today? Hope everybody's doing well, having a great weekend. It has been a wonderful weekend here at the No Shoes Bar and Grill. Uh, I am happy to be with you today and bring you a what I think is going to be a wonderful pairing. Let me turn myself down because I can see myself over on YouTube. Uh, I am pairing today. We are really leveling up the richness and the sophistication of this show. I am bringing to you today Knob Creek Single Barrel Select Barrel. That's a lot to write in the title. And I am pairing that with a Padron 1964 Anniversary Maduro. I think it is going to be a great pairing, and I cannot wait to give you all the details. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. This the Knob Creek. This is a barrel proof, and it comes. Whoops! I can always get the left and right wrong. It comes in at a whopping 120 proof, 60% alcohol by volume. So it has got a serious backbone to it. Let's go ahead and glass some up. Mm. I hope that really sounded good on the microphone. I got it right next to it. Got my Aggies playing in March Madness here. So I'll probably be looking up a lot during all of this. Anyway, this, as you can see, and that is just a beautiful spirit in the glass. It has this wonderful, just copper color to it with reddish gold hues in it. It's got very good legs on the glass. Swirls very nicely. Has a really nice viscosity look to it. On the nose, you can tell it's 120 proof. There is a little bit of heat there, a little ethanol in the nose. Let me hold this up to the camera one more time because it didn't look like it showed up quite well enough on YouTube. I want you all to get a really great look at that spirit. Anyway, on the nose, it is intense, but it's inviting. You don't want to pull away. You get this kind of like almost like a candied cherry bomb, brown sugar, caramel, some great vanilla bean notes, a little bit of like roasted nuts, peanuts, that kind of thing, and the signature Knob Creek oak char. There's some black pepper spice that kind of tickles the nose, and then there's some undertones of leather and just a faint barrel smokiness. Mm. Then it opens up with some really great notes of toffee and roasted corn, maybe some sweet oak in there just wafting by. The ethanol is definitely present, but it's controlled. Um, I think the proof is really going to work in its favor here. All right, I can't wait anymore. I got to try this. It has got a thick kind of coating mouthfeel that within just a couple of seconds, that 120 proof starts creating this warm sensation across your tongue. Um, but then you get some kind of sweet entry notes with caramel, vanilla, kind of a cherry pie. Then more of a say an oak driven kind of baking spices like cinnamon, allspice, cloves, that kind of thing. And then a kind of tannic like leather tobacco kind of combination. Mid palate, um, kind of turns savory with a little char, some roasted nuts, little hints of cola, and then just a touch of orange peel. Man, it's a great spirit. Mm. Second sip, not nearly as much heat. It was right on that first sip. Takes your mouth a moment to get accustomed to it, and the second sip is not like that. Um, I have a little bit of residual warmth around my cheeks inside, but nothing really on the tongue. The finish is, I mean, it's kind of epic and layered. You get this lingering kind of sweet oakiness, some ginger, like ginger snap cookies or something like that, some black pepper. The cherry kind of comes in and then fades away, and there's this kind of warm glow with no real like harsh burnout. Overall, this is a bold, kind of old school driven uh, intensity that's sweet but structured, oaky and spicy. It is a clear step above the standard knob in depth, for sure. Now, the Padron 1964 Anniversary Edition in Maduro. Visually, um, it's a beautiful stick, traditional Padron, excellent quality. It has the feel of like paper sacks, like the old paper sacks you got at the grocery store. Um, Minimal to moderate veining, but really none of the veining is extremely pronounced. There's one little tiny piece of vein right there that kind of nudges out. But other than that, the veining is very minimal. And it has tight but visible seams. And it has the uh, round, if I can get that turned right, there we go. The round box press, where it's instead of having the sharp corners, it's got the rounded corners, makes it more of an oval shape. All right, let's give it a cut. And then we'll take the nose. The nose is very delicate. It's not a lot of like really bold uh, aromas. You do get some tobacco and some cedar and a little bit of leather. Um, there is a little bit of kind of a fermented note to it, um, but I think that it's more of a rich fermentation, not like a bad fermentation. Okay, on the cold draw. Cold draw, I get like sweet cocoa, some espresso, some subtle kind of fruity notes. Uh, it's intense and luxurious. It's less cedar forward than the natural in the 64 anniversary. The natural is a little bit lighter colored stick. Um, but let's go ahead and fire it up. Sorry, I had my lighter, but I didn't have it out. Looks like a very good light. We'll see. Just a plethora of smoke coming off of this stick, but it's not an overwhelming amount of smoke. It's just a really good volume. Um, it starts with kind of a kick of rich, kind of dark chocolate, like brownie, some coffee and espresso, some creamy caramel sweetness. There's a little bit of subtle black pepper in there. Um, there's also some black pepper in the retrohale. but then it is all supported by kind of an earthy backbone, um, with some hints of, like, dark cherries or prunes. Um, it is It's a wonderful stick. That's a pretty decent burn line. I think any waves in that's probably attributable to me, yours truly. I do really love this cigar. It's a medium to full. It's a medium full to full, and it'll kind of steadily increase in intensity throughout the smoke, and it's a wonderfully aromatic and, as I said, voluminous smoke. Overall, I would say this cigar is decadent and complex, ultra refined. It's got that Maduro richness that elevates the 1964's legendary, balance. Um, and this is a, cigar aficionado Hall of Famer, and for good reason. Mm. Now, how they dance together, the March Madness and the dance. Um, the You get the first couple of puffs in. I was giving you my uh, been out here. I've been here all day. Ain't been doing that shit all day. Wait till I get here. And yeah, um, I had my first puffs in. And I mix it with a nice sip of the Knob Creek, uh, and the synergy starts out strong. The bourbon's kind of candied cherry and caramel sweetness kind of locks onto the Maduro's dark chocolate, mocha, and kind of creamy caramel. It's like they were made for each other, the nutty kind of roasty elements of both kind of amplify each other. You got the knobs, kind of, dusty roasted peanuts mixed with the cigars. It's more of kind of a cashew almond uh, flavors in the stick, and it just does create a really, really great harmony. I'm very much enjoying myself, even though we're behind 1916. In case you're not watching, yeah, dude, shit. That was a bad foul, dude. You should not have done that. I mean, I think they're going to end up calling him a flagrant on that one. He should not have done that. Anyway, I am enjoying my sip and smoke. Hang on here. This is what I've been reduced to now. Don't say anything. Yeah. All right. Uh, yeah, that's I now have some new contacts. I've been having to wear glasses for the last several years. I have keratoconus. That is a problem that I got about 12 years after I had LASIK surgery. Got to the point where I had to have glasses or contacts again, but keratoconus causes your eye to kind of misshape. And so contacts weren't doing any good. So I had to go to a specialist and have special contacts made that are larger and hard. That's what she said. Um, And the problem is that they fixed my distance vision. I can read everything on the screen, but I can't read anything, all the small print on this stuff. I can't. I can kind of make it out, but it just doesn't do close up. So I have to do reading glasses, like an old fart. I say, yeah, but you are an old fart. Yeah, that's probably true. So I gave you a little touch up. Still, you got a really, really nice burn line going. Oh, and just beautiful stacks of nice light gray ash. It's a great constructed cigar. Excellent construction. Yeah, Dominguez, dumbass. I tell you. All right, now this is 120 proof. That's kind of up there. It's not the biggest, the highest proof that I have tried. I think I've been somewhere in the 128 to 135 range with maybe some Jack Daniels. Um, and it does have a little bit of heat to it. But like I said, after that first sip, your mouth kind of adjusts to it, and you don't feel it nearly as much the next time. But you do start really picking up those flavors. I just have a really sneaky feeling that we're not going to make it out of this round. And it's got a pretty nice burn time to it. We're at 17 minutes right now. I think it probably took me 5 minutes to get to the cigar and get it lit. Maybe a little bit more than that. So 10 minutes in, more or less. This is probably a 45, maybe 55-minute cigar. You're not going to have to stay around for all that. But we'll get her down to the halfway mark, and I'll give you my midpoints, and then we'll wrap it up. I don't want to keep you all afternoon. It's Saturday. For those that might have just joined in, thank you for being here. Please give me a like, thumbs up, heart. Leave me a comment. I love comments. Uh, yeah, I had some. I do cigar musings. Uh, Try to post one every day. 10, 20 second. I give it a little, uh, just a little sentence that has something to do with cigars. And I always remember the George Byrne quote. He said, "If I'd given up smoking cigars when my doctor told me I should, I would not have lived to go to his funeral." It's like that. Um, and I try to get some sort of appropriate music in the background that has a little something to do with one of the words that I'm using. You'll like it. But I had somebody on there the other day is like, "You're going to die a slow, painful death if you don't give those things up." Dude, you're always so creepy. Seriously. And then I posted the National Institute of Health study where they, unfortunately for them, it blew up all of their what they've been saying over the last 30 years. They found out they tested a test group of 50,000 people for a period of like 10 years, and they had them in different categories. They had never smoked before. They had smoked premium hand rolled cigars, smoked non premium cigars, which are machine mades, and smoked cigarettes. You know who had the least incidence of cancer? I'll let you think on that for a minute. The premium cigar smokers, 5.1%. Never smoked before, 5.2%. So I say smoke them if you got them. Of course, all the rest of it, you shouldn't be doing it. Either premium, I mean, the non-premium machine mades, you were up around like 7%, and then cigarettes was like 10 or 11%. I honestly, I'm not a scientist, all right, but I kind of look at things, and it's like when you introduce machine made, In other words, bulk manufacturing. All of a sudden, your risks go up. With these, you have a lower risk than not doing it at all. What's the difference? Premium handmade cigars, everything is done basically organically. Everything touches, there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 sets of hands that touch cigar leaves before it gets shipped in the box to the distributor. They plant them, they they grow them by hand, they pick them by hand, they dry them naturally, they sort them naturally, and then they roll them naturally. There's no machines, no chemicals, no none of that crap. That's where the problem is. Anyway, after all of that, I'd said, for those of you that have just joined, uh, hopefully you're still on after my little soapbox on cigars. I am pairing Knob Creek Single Barrel Select Barrel with a Padron 1964 Anniversary Maduro cigar. Uh, the Knob Creek comes in at a hefty 120 proof, 60% alcohol by volume. Uh, it is a barrel proof heat, and it's got a lot of backbone to it. The nose is very intense. It gives you this like candied cherry just explosion with brown sugar, caramel, vanilla bean, some like dusty roasted nuts. Well, it's like you used to be able to get it at Texas Roadhouse where they'd still be in the shell and you just throw your shells on the floor. Well, they don't do that anymore. Yeah, they probably had a lawsuit. Somebody got hurt. Uh, but you get that nice kind of signature Knob Creek oat char to it. There's some black pepper spices in there, some leather undertones, little faint barrel smoke. I mean, it is a wealth of flavors in this. Sorry, I'm watching the game. Game's getting tight. That's a jump. Uh, the palate. What I just gave you was the nose. You hadn't even put the sip in your mouth yet. That was the nose. On your palate, it's very thick and it's got this nice coating mouthfeel to it. It starts off sweet with caramel, vanilla, maybe a little touch of cherry pie in there. There's some nice oak-driven kind of baking spices like cinnamon and cloves and allspice, stuff like that. There's some leather and tobacco, and this is all out in the front. And when you get to the mid palate, it gets more savory. You get more char. You get more roasted nuts. You get some hints of like cola and maybe just a little touch of orange peel in there. And the finish is lingering with like sweet oak and black pepper. And there's a cherry that kind of whiffs in and fades out. And it just has this warm glow to it all through the sip. Are you ready to buy yet? All right. Now then, the 1964. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this before I wave it around and drop it in my lap. But one more time. Look at that. Beautiful stacks of just white ash, nice thin layers, wonderful construction. I could probably keep smoking it and not drop it in my lap, but it's happened too many times. So this wrapper is a dark and oily Nicaraguan Maduro that is fermented longer for a really nice richness. Now, on the cold draw, you'll get some sweet cocoa and some espresso, some kind of subtle fruity notes. It is intense and luxurious, and it's less cedar forward than its brother, the natural, which is a lighter wrapper. Once we fired it up, we got some really nice, rich, like dark chocolate, brownie kind of flavors mixed with coffee or espresso, some creamy caramel sweetness in there, a little bit of like black pepper on the retrohale, with a nice little earthy backbone and some hints of like dark fruit, like dark cherries or prunes, and just a wonderful amount of smoke. That's the recap. I mean, what more could you need, right? And now, so I'm through talking. He's still going. Bastard. But now we're at commercial. I could lean back and take a few puffs, and now we're on commercial. I could, anyway. It's all part of my, all of what makes me enjoyable, right? I keep hoping one day I'm going to look around and one of these videos is going to have like 15,000 views. Oh, it's nice to dream, right? Can't tell what that says. I'm not putting my reading glasses back on again. I'm sure y'all were laughing at me when I was doing it. And again, since we're at a pause, hit like, subscribe, share, notify, ring all the bells, all the whistles, all that kind of stuff. Definitely share it with your friends. Just hit repost it. Cost you 2 seconds, and everybody that you know is now going to get to see it. And if you're on X, which millions of people are, you can become a subscriber. $1. $1 per month. And I send you my pre-show notes before the show ever happens. Because, I have to test smoke and make sure everything works and all that kind of stuff. Y'all don't see all that. And then I have to come up with everything that I need to tell you. Sometimes I get a little off topic. That's how it goes. It's part of what makes me enjoyable, right? But anyway, $1 a month. I'm trying to come up with some other things that could be, really good to, make that $1 even more attractive. Like, yeah, it's worth $1. But you get a nice little note card posted to you on X just to subscribers that tell you what I'm going to be pairing and give you the kind of just the high level details, like the nose and the palate and that kind of thing. We're already at the halfway mark. And wow, we're doing great. Hang on, let me just one more time. All right. Midway, the cocoa in the cigar is kind of deepened into a really good mocha territory. The roasted nuts, I said earlier, was kind of like cashews and almonds on the stick. That's kind of emerged. The creamy textures have built with leather and a little bit of faint like cinnamon coffee in the back. The spice has ramped up gently, uh, maybe almost bordering on kind of a cayenne edge to it. But that's balanced by the Maduro sweetness. And, you know, it's been great construction. I tapped it only because I didn't want it to end up in my lap, which I knew it would happen. Uh, the spirit is still doing very well. The Padron's kind of espresso coffee and subtle black pepper that has deepened. The bourbon's baking spices, the cinnamon, the clove, the allspice, and the oak have kind of stepped in perfectly. The Maduro's rich sweetness kind of tempers that 120-degree proof heat, which adds a nice, luxurious depth, while the whiskey's char and leather kind of echo the cigar's earthiness. There's no clash. There's just layers of evolving richness. Wow. You need to go out. You need to go out today. Go to the cigar shop. I guarantee you. Go to your local cigar shop. They'll have a 1964 Maduro. Now, the Knob Creek Single Barrel Select Barrel Bourbon, that might be a little bit trickier, but Rocco. He's a like 8 or 9 year old Labradoodle, little one though, like maybe a little bit smaller than Cocker Spaniel size. Every time they let him out the door, he just bolts out the door, running to the back fence, barking like crazy. Love Rocco. He's funny because he's not after anything, but you think he is. I tell you what, this is burning fast enough. If y'all want to hold on, we can go ahead and wrap this thing up, or I can just tell you about it. What do you think? Want to push on? Ain't got much left. We'll get in like 35 minutes or so. Because by the time I told you everything that happened up to the halfway mark, we were already well into the after halfway mark. I'm telling you, you wouldn't want to you wouldn't want to go too heavy on the Knob Creek at 120 proof, but you pour you about 3 or so fingers. Some of you may be asking, what's a finger? You take a regular size, like old-fashioned glass, and you put 2 fingers at the bottom of the glass, where the liquid sits, and you pour 2 fingers into that glass. That's about 2 ounces. So if you hear somebody ask for 2 fingers, that's what they're asking for. A regular pour is if you're pouring good, it's about 1.5 ounces. But shot is supposed to be 1 ounce. But if they order 2 fingers, you're gonna get 2 ounces. And I like 2 fingers in a cube, big ice block. I know the bourbon purists will be like, I like it that way. I like my drinks cold. I grew up in the South. It's hot all the time. You want something cool. I have been very impressed by how fast this cigar has burned, and I don't think I've been smoking it overly fast. Damn. Sorry, I had to have a little something different. Mm. How did we end up in the part of the bracket where you get the number 2 team in that bracket second game? People like keeping A&M down. It's all right though. This year was the first year for this coach. He got us to the tournament and he got us into the second round. So now we should be expecting better next year. This year, it was terrible when Buzz something, whatever his last name was, our previous coach, he left and went to Maryland. Bucky came in. This is Bucky Ball now. Bucky came in and he had basically no players, none to start. He's completely had to build a basketball program, and he didn't get hired till late. So he didn't have a lot of time to do it. I've actually been pretty impressed. So this was a big step up from where he came from. I mean, now you're in the SEC now, buddy. That's the big time. Basketball, I mean, SEC, Big Ten, maybe Big 12, maybe some of the up in the Northeast, some of those schools, but everything's just shifting around so much. It's hard to tell where anybody's at anymore. Arizona is now in the Big 12. And one of the West Coast teams, like UCLA, is like in the Big East. How the hell are you in the Big East? You're on the West Coast. Every game for you is a big travel. I do enjoy the time of year where I have some nice sports stuff to talk about, and I don't have to try and fill in with any of the bad stuff that's going on in the world, because I got a whole lot I can say about that too. But I can stay away from that. Spirits, cigars, sports. Talk about my dogs and my neighbor's dogs. We're almost there. Where are we at? Oh man, we're doing good. We're almost there. Hey, definitely watch St. Louis. Uh, no, sorry, they already played. You can't. There's a kid, and that you won't be able to see him now. He might be in the NBA next year. He's one of these kids. He was a center, 6'10", 245. You looked at him, and you were like, "What?" He did not look like a basketball player, other than the fact that he was nearly 7 feet tall. Boy has some great moves, some really great moves. I wanted to get to see that game today, but we had a family function, so I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Um, Kind of in the final half, uh, we've gotten the dark chocolate and the espresso has kind of held over. The vanilla and the roasted nuts have kind of intensified. You've got this fresh, clean flavor that's got some lingering earthiness to it with cocoa and a subtle sweetness. There's no harshness, just an elegant depth all the way through. Uh, Mixing with the Knob Creek Single Barrel Select Barrel Bourbon. Um, the bourbon's long spicy oak finish kind of lingers as the Maduro's dark cocoa and vanilla and nuts start to kind of fade, creating an extended indulgent kind of aftertaste. The cigar's creaminess smooths any of the bourbon's bite from that 120 proof, while the smoke adds profound complexity to the whiskey's warmth. They elevate each other beautifully. Um, if the proof hits hot early, if you're not quite used to 120 proof, put a couple of drops, and I mean drops, of water. That'll kind of open up the vanilla and the caramel to even better match the Maduro's sweetness. This Maduro version leans almost dessert-like, so it's definitely great with the Knob Creek, sitting out on the patio in the afternoon, just enjoying like a cherry pie with chocolate on it. Best way I can describe it. This is a world class pairing. It's a bold bourbon. It's got that bold bourbon power, and it meets this Maduro decadence of caramel and oak that meet dark chocolate and espresso. Spicy meets creamy. You got a nice richness in there. It's not just excellent; it's luxurious and memorable. Uh, like I said, perfect for sitting on the patio in the afternoon, watching some March Madness football and enjoying a nice smoke and sip. Um, I really can't say enough. I would rate this pairing a 95 out of 100. That's probably one of the highest ratings I've given. It is an elite synergy and is absolutely splurge worthy. Uh, hey, what makes you a fan of Sticks and Stones? Uh, Whatever it is, hit like, subscribe, share, notify. ring all the bells, blow all the whistles. If you're on X, subscribe, $1 a month. You'll know the show notes before the show ever starts. You already know what it is. So you could go to the cigar shop and the liquor store and you could try it right along with me and see if you get what I get. Drop your own tasting notes in the comments, or hit me up on one of the social medias. But until we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, your stones cold. Have a great day.